Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this hat here. It's made with V stitches, if you can see them, double crochets and V stitches. I guess there's not too much texture in it, but it's pretty easy to make as long as you're familiar with double crochets. And it's got the pom-pom on top, but you can leave that off if you want to. I got that pom-pom off Amazon, in case you're wondering. So this could actually be for a man or a woman. It can be universal, you know. It'd fit either or. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I am using Red Heart with Love Metallic. It is almost a 100% acrylic, other than the streamers that run through it that make it the sparkle. It is a medium weight number 4, and the color that I'm using is called Olive. You can use any type of 4-weight yarn that you have. It does not have to be this brand. And there's 200 yards in this skein, and that'll be enough to make one hat. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Okay, I just wanted to take this time to ask you not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you look in the description box of this video or any of my videos, you'll see a link to auto subscribe. Click on that link and automatically be subscribed, and you'll never miss any of my updates. So we're going to start out with a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to work a chain of 4. Now you can use the magic circle here if you prefer. Then we're going to slip stitch into our first chain to form a ring, just like that. Then we're going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. What we're going to do now is we're going to work 12 double crochets through the center of this ring. So I'm going to yarn over and go through the ring, draw up a loop, and then I'm going to work my double crochet. And I want to do that 12 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when you make it to the end of round 1, you want to go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first double crochet, and you should have 12 stitches now. Now usually you can pull your tail and close up that center circle a little bit, and then you can usually sew it together the rest of the way at the end. Now we're going to start off with the chain 1. Now I'm going to work 2 double crochets right there and back into that stitch that I slip stitched into, so right there. Go ahead and work 2 doubles. It's 1 and 2. Now I'm going to work 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around until I get back to my starting point. So 2 in the next, and then 2 in the next, and I'm just going to repeat this pattern of 2 double crochets in every stitch until I get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 2, and now you should have 24 stitches. We want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Now what we're going to do is a V stitch. So we're going to chain 1, which does not count as anything. We're going to work a V stitch right back into the same spot that we just slip stitched into. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go right back into the same stitch and work another double crochet. So that is a V stitch, a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet. Now I'm going to skip 1 stitch, and I'm going to put a V stitch into the next. So I'm going to yarn over, go skip this stitch, go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, a chain 1, and another double crochet. I'm going to skip 1 stitch and V stitch into the next. So double, chain 1, and double. Again, I'm going to repeat. I'm going to skip this stitch, skip one, and V-stitch into the next. Double, chain one, and double. And now this is the pattern I'm going to repeat all the way around. I'm going to skip one and V-stitch into the next. And I'm going to repeat this until I get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 3, and your piece is probably going to flip up a little bit, and that's okay. I did my last V-stitch. I have one stitch left to skip. Just go ahead and skip that, and then in with the slip stitch into that first double crochet, that first V-stitch. And you should have 12 V-stitches at the end of round 3. Now we're going to start off with the chain one. But I want to work 3 double crochets in a row, and then my next stitch will have 2 double crochets in it. So we'll go ahead and we'll start out by putting 1 double crochet into this very first stitch. And now we're going to put 1 double crochet in the chain space of this V-stitch. One double crochet into this next double crochet. So what we have done is 3 double crochets in a row. Now this next stitch, this next double crochet right here, we're going to put 2 double crochets into it. So 2 into the same stitch. So now we're going to kind of repeat that. So we need to do 3 double crochets in a row. So the next double crochet is going to go into this chain 1 space. So that's 1. The next double crochet goes right here on top of this double crochet. 2. And the next double crochet goes right here in this double crochet. That's 3. It's 3 in a row. So the next space, which is the chain 1 space, is going to get 2 double crochets into it. Just like that. Now we're going to repeat that again. We want to do 3 double crochets in a row. So here's double crochet on top of that double crochet. There's 1 double crochet into this double crochet. That's 2. Double crochet into the chain space. It's 3. Now the next stitch is going to get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way around. 1 double crochet. We need to do 3 double crochets in a row. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch. 1 double crochet into the next, which is the chain space. 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So this is what we're going to repeat until we get back to the beginning. 3 double crochets in a row, and then 2 double crochets in the next. Just remember the chain space of the V's counts as a stitch. So again, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, which is this chain space. 1 double crochet into the next stitch. 1 double crochet into the next stitch. It's 3 in a row, and then 2 double crochets in the next, which is the chain 1 space. So go ahead and repeat this all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 4, and you should have a total of 45 stitches now. So we're going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into our first double crochet. Okay, now for round 5, we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to work 2 double crochets in a row, and then the next stitch will have 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So we're going to start off by putting 1 double crochet into that very first stitch, and then 1 double into the next stitch. So that's 2 doubles in a row. Now the next stitch is going to get 2 doubles into the same stitch. And we're going to repeat that. 1 double in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then 2 doubles into the next. One double into the next 2 stitches, and 2 doubles into the next. And this is the pattern I'm going to repeat all the way around. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I have made it to the end of round 5. Your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, and you should have a total of 60 stitches now. So now we're going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into our first double crochet. Now rounds 6, 7, and 8 are the repeat rounds for the rest of the hat. We will not be increasing anymore. Now the more rows you do, the hat will start to come down and look like a hat. So for round 6, we're going to chain 1. And we're going to work a V-stitch right here into the very first stitch. So we do our double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Now we skip 1 stitch, skip this one, and V-stitch into the next. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Again, skip 1 stitch and V-stitch into the next. Double, chain 1, and double. And that's the pattern I'm going to repeat all the way around. Skip 1, V-stitch into the next. Skip 1 and V-stitch into the next. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Skip 1 and V-stitch. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 6, and you should have 30 V-stitches. You should have 1 stitch left to skip. So go ahead and skip that and end with the slip stitch into our first double crochet. That ends round 6. Now round 7, we're going to slip stitch 1 time to our first chain 1 space, the middle of our first V, like that. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work 2 double crochets through that chain space. So there's 1 and 2. Now we're going to jump to the next chain 1 space right here, the middle of the next V, and work 2 double crochets. Again, the next V stitch, the chain 1 space, 2 double crochets. So we're going to work 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space of every single V-stitch from this previous row. So here's the V-stitch, just jump right over into the chain 1 space and work 2 double crochets. Next one, 2 doubles right here into the middle of this V. Next one, 2 doubles right here in the middle, and we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we get back to the beginning. 2 doubles in the chain 1 space of every V-stitch. And that's what it starts to look like. You can see the hat might be starting to pull down a little bit like it's supposed to. So go ahead and finish that until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I've come to the end of round 7, and you should have 60 stitches now. You want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet. Now round 8, we're going to chain 1. We're going to put a double crochet right back into that very first stitch. And now what we're going to do is just put 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. Just like that. One double every stitch all the way around until you get back to your starting point. Okay, I have made it to the end of round 8. You should have 60 stitches. You want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to keep repeating rounds 6, 7, and 8. So round 6 was the V-stitch row. So we'll just repeat that for round 7. You just chain 1, V-stitch into the first stitch. Skip 1, V-stitch into the next. Skip 1, V-stitch into the next. And we just repeat this all the way around. And remember, you'll have 30 V-stitches when you make it back around. And then you would repeat round 7, which is where you put 2 double crochets in the middle of every V-stitch. And then you would repeat round 8, which is 1 double crochet in every stitch. So just keep repeating round 6, 7, and 8. Okay, I went ahead and repeated for a total of 14 rounds, and that's starting from round 1. So 1 through 14. My last round was a row of just plain double crochet. Now, if you try your hat on and you feel like maybe you think it's too long for you, go ahead and only do 13 rounds. I like my hats a little longer. Some people don't. So try it on. If you feel like you don't want it that long, just leave this last row off and only do 13 rounds. But I did 14. But what we're going to do now is just a finishing row. So regardless whether you did 13 or 14 rounds, it'll be the same. Go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first stitch here. Now we're just going to chain 1, and we're just going to do single crochet all the way around. So 1 single back into that same stitch, and then 1 single in every stitch all the way around. Just like this. And when you get back around, you should have 60 stitches still. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Okay, I've made it all the way around with this finishing row of single crochet, and I do have my 60 stitches still. Go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first single crochet that you made. Not the chain one that you did, but the first single crochet. And then we can tie this off and hide the tail. That scissors sounded funny. Go ahead and just weave your tail in. Alright, that's probably good. Okay, like that. Now you can be done if you want, or you can add a pom-pom. I have a pom-pom. Put on here. One of these. You can make your own pom-pom, or you can add one of these. Now all I do when I have these type of pom-poms, they got a little rubber band at the bottom. I just take a tiny button and I sew it right here on the back. And then I pull this through with the little ponytail thing that's on these pom-poms. Pull it through and attach it to the button. Just right around the button. And that way you can take it off if you want, or if you know, when you need to wash it, you can take it off. It'll be removable. But that's it, or you can just leave the pom-pom off. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, remember that auto subscribe button that I talked about in the beginning. It's down in the description box. And don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. I have hundreds of them. And until next time, have a good day.